Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this opportunity to describe an accelerator to success. What I'm going to be talking about in the next couple minutes here is really focusing on the Rutgers Institute for Translational Medicine and Science, how that institute dovetails with NJACTS, our CTSA hub, and then describe really, I think, innovative approaches to clinical trials and the future. What does the future lie? So what is RITS? RITS is the Rutgers Institute for Translational Medicine and Science. The M is silent there, it's the RITS. Our vision is to develop innovations for disease treatment, prevention, healthcare, and lifestyles for our communities. And this is New Jersey-wide. It catalyzes translational and clinical research. It trains the next legacy of investigators, streamlines the bureaucratic red tape of doing clinical research, and really reaches out to the community. I'm going to touch on all of those in the next couple minutes. We embrace the concept of precision medicine for practitioners and providers. What that means, and what the goal of our institute is, to be able to establish the right diagnosis for the right patient receiving the right therapy and at the right time. So let's focus on several really interesting platforms. And within the RITS, I am one of multiple principal investigators that has formulated the Rutgers Optimizes Innovation Health Advance. Now, this is an accelerator because it works with innovators and inventors to get their academic assets commercialized. In a nutshell, Health Advance is the ROI, that's our term for the Rutgers Optimizes Innovation. It is a service model that allows inventors to dovetail with a variety of key facilitators to get their products into a commercial environment. And it dovetails with many other resources across Rutgers. So at a glance, if you have intellectual property, and that could be a provisional patent or just a declaration, and don't have money and don't have an existing license, you could be teamed up with a mentor in residence. And this mentor in residence, arm in arm, formulates business pitches, allows you to apply for grants, and this grant is an NIH grant that can award up to $150,000 for the transition of your academic asset into a commercial product. You have reviewers in industry who examine it, give you feedback so you can hone it. It then goes to NIH, where the FDA, managed care organizations, and a variety of other regulatory agencies give feedback to your project. And ultimately, the decision for funding is made. And at that point, you're off to the races, and it's milestone driven with tranches of money for specific goals attained that allows you to move forward. The ultimate goal is probably a small business, an SBIR grant that allows you to establish your own company. So Health Advance can award up to $150,000 for 18 months to get the project moving forward. We also have another category, Health Express, which is $50,000 for up to 9 months for a fast track kind of project just that needs the killer experiment to go further. Now, let's see how we've done. We've now we just entered our 3rd year of 4, and you can see the total numbers since launch of letters of intent down to applications. And we've actually engaged a variety of schools at Rutgers, the arts and science, the engineering. Our invitation rate for applications about 75%, and a funding rate of 55%. We're really proud of this program. We are one of 5 in the country to be awarded this project. So what's one of these projects? How did it develop, and Here's one that's really exciting to us.
I'm
This is one that was sponsored by Health Advance. It's a Radix project. And in this case, the innovator has found a way to test for COVID-19 using a breathalyzer test. This has gotten really incredible national coverage, and this coverage has been in the New York Times, on CBS and NBC. It also fosters education, brainstorming sessions. It dovetails with our NJACTS, which I'll be talking about, as well as other educational endeavors. So now let's talk about the New Jersey Alliance for Clinical and Translational Science. I am the program director for the CTSA hub. There's only 60 in the country, and it is the largest infrastructure grant to provide service for translational science. So what is the CTSA? Trains and cultivates a translational science workforce, engages patients and communities, uses cutting-edge informatics. It's the largest infrastructure training award. It goes and brackets the bench all the way to changing impressions in the community. Let's get a little more granular. When we talk about translational science, what is that? It's not linguistics. T0 is bench work, petri dish work. This is equal to like a pharmaceutical company, that would be in the green there, or how they do their clinical drug development. You can see as you progress through T0 to T4, you're translating into humans, into patients, and then into practice. This is the alignment with traditional drug discovery, and it's really proof of safety, proof of concept, proof of efficacy, and then proof of acceptance. So it brackets all of these. Who are we? Well, it is Rutgers is the home, and we have 2 alliance members. NJACTS stands for the New Jersey Alliance for Clinical and Translational Science. It's a partnership between Rutgers, Princeton, NJIT. We are statewide. Its administrative home is in the RITMS. It has 14 cores. I don't have time to go over all the cores, but they're very important cores, like being able to foster consultations for epidemiologic approaches. It has 2 training limbs, a KL2, Young Investigator Award at the faculty level, and TL1, graduate and postdoctoral fellows. The grant in toto is about $45 million, $29 million of which comes from NIH. The balance is voluntary commitment funds. Here we are. This is the Rutgers Institute, Translational Medicine and Science, and immediately what you see is it touches virtually every school, every biomedical school in the RBHS, as well as Princeton and NJIT. All the institutes have individuals. So I'm very proud to be able to lead this wonderful orchestra of individuals who are part and parcel of NJACTS. We have about 185 investigators statewide, and it's a very large endeavor, but very exciting, and it distinguishes us in New Jersey and the nation. So how did we leverage NJACTS for the pandemic? I just want to hit some high points here. We built an incredible cohort, some of which Barnabas played an absolutely essential role. We developed a healthcare worker cohort that was 5,200 participants. By the way, we accomplished this in about 2.5 months. We have retained 42,000 biospecimens in the healthcare worker cohort. We now have established a community-based outreach for underrepresented minority testing, RADx. I'll come back to that. We have submitted a very large grant for the long haulers disease, still waiting to hear. We provided the samples for the EUA that was derived for COVID saliva testing through RUCDR, now known as Infinity Biologics. We played key roles in the J&J vaccine trial. Matter of fact, we were second in the world in recruitment for that vaccine trial. 840 participants, in 6 weeks. We are leaders in the Active 1. We are in the top 3 of 40 in the US. Active 1 is an interventional trial for COVID-19, as well as Active 2 and 18 other interventional trials. Now, NJ Heroes 2 is a supplement to this grant. It was a $5 million supplement to enhance testing in the community. It leverages our healthcare workers as ambassadors, and we're comparing that approach to enhancing testing with a community-based organizational approach. NJACTS has a valuable core for queer engagement. Here we have 20 CBOs that have partnered with us to really further our mission. Here we showed the awarded supplements, a tremendous amount of supplements that we have received from COVID, but we have many other supplements that are pending. These are our publications. Of course, this is not meant to be read, but this was our publications in the last 12 months. We had 32 publications. We're very proud that NJACTS is training the next generation of investigators, KL2 awardees, TL1 awardees. These are early investigators who are faculty. These are postdocs, as well as graduate students. We've given out 27 pilot grants, and we give out now $640,000 a year in pilot grants. So what's next? Well, we believe as an accelerator, our clinical trials office that we've developed is a soup to nuts approach that allows very fastidious and nimble recruitment of patients into clinical trials or participants. Here is the overview. Clinical Trials Office executes studies. It serves as a regulatory enhancer, meaning that we have a scientific review board that tunes our protocols before they go to the Rutgers IRB. We have a business office that actually does contracting. Very first time that contracting lives in a clinical trials office, not central administration. Now, we're not an IRB. What we do is prep the PI to give the very best application to the Rutgers IRB. So did this work? Here's the data. Number of approved studies on the left side, and you can see in 2019, we had about 1,248 COVID studies, about 406, non-COVID studies in 2020. Now remember, this was in the midst of a pandemic, and we still did non-COVID work. I want to show what our office has done with regard to approval time. For COVID tests, we could stand up a clinical trial in 12 days. That is not only contracting, not only budget, but also IRB approval. Non-COVID tests are about a little north of 30 days, and here we were in 2019. Now this is really exciting. Here's our data from 2018, 2019, and 2020. Remember, this is pandemic time. Look how we could advance subject in enrollment, participant enrollment in clinical trials. Unbelievable in the midst of a pandemic. More importantly, I want to share with you our clinical trial study income. We went from 2.89 million to 6.54 million in that period of time. Our clinical trial subject enrollment in pediatrics went up 8-fold, unbelievable increase. So we have, through NJACTS and our CTO, had a 68% decrease in turnaround time for COVID studies, 95% increase in approved studies compared to 2019. We had 200 and 400% increase in subject enrollment, large increases in our funds flow in clinical trials, 9% of awards and 26% of funding in 2020 was for COVID. So it was a big chunk, but we were able to stand this up in the middle of a pandemic. So let me now end with where are we going? Well, what we've learned during the pandemic is we can perform high quality virtual clinical trial studies. We have now partnered with Vault Health and Infinity Biologics to establish this unique platform. We are embarking and have 2 interventional studies that we never see the participant. Everything is done virtually in the participant's home. Now, the value of this is Vault Health has a recruitment pool of 3 million participants across the US. So we could potentially have a scope that is national and international. Not going to go over this slide, but it shows the interaction with how we can actually do this with an operating system that is proprietary with Vault Health, but intimately interactive with Rutgers. Over here on the right side, you can see the numbers of trainees that we have had. So participants, pardon me. That was a very quick review of what NJACTS has to offer. It is a threat, and it's just an unbelievable time to be doing clinical and translational science across New Jersey. Barnabas and our Barnabas colleagues are shoulder to shoulder with us in this endeavor. We hope to roll out the clinical trials office across the health system where we see value and the potential to improve care. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, and have a good day.